Thank you. I bribed those guys here. Girls. I'm Raghava, I'm an artist, and I always start anything I do with a picture of my mommy. I love her to bits. She's the one who taught me how to love. Be careful when you date a South Indian boy. He'll always love his mother more. But the rest of my family are boring academics, busy collecting Ivy League decals for our classic ambassador car in India. Well, my dad was a little different. He was a philosophical dude. One day, he was having a philosophical moment, which is having his favorite whiskey. And I said, "Appa," "Pa, why should you, what is education?" And he loved those kind of questions. He said, "Your education is hijacked. It's hijacked by Industrial Revolution. True education," he said, "is about discipline, learning how to learn." He loved these kind of stories, like working hard, good citizenship, all of this beautiful stuff. I said, "Wow, that's really intense." I made mental notes. I was in the 11th grade. I went back, I sat with my brothers, conspired, came back and said, "Pa, I decided I'm going to be hardworking, I'm going to be emotionally and financially independent of you guys." And he was getting teared up, and he came to hug me. I said, wait, hold that thought. Can I quit school then? Why should I go to school if I'm going to do all of this? I used his own philosophy against him, quit formal education in the 11th grade to become a cartoonist, of all things. And I wanted to really hit back against a system that kept telling me who I was. So I made fun of my teachers by making caricatures of them. And that's what I did for a very long time. And I realized that the best way to learn cartooning really was to teach cartooning. And the kids are the most creative creatures you'll ever meet. So what I did was I started my own school. I was 18, and I begged people to bring their kids to my school. And I taught about 5,000 children all over the world at the end of a couple of years. And in doing that, I started traveling. And I had never been on a plane until I started art. And art took me sort of as a magic carpet all over the world. And for me, the most interesting thing was that you don't have to be given permission to be an artist. You can just paint. I didn't even know how to paint. In fact, I want to show you a video of my painting when I started. I didn't know how to use a brush. So I said, who needs a brush? That's my city. It's me being a rock star. This is how I used to paint in my terrace. My paintings had to be larger than life, of course. And I painted these beautiful dancers. But in my travels, the most special thing happened. And that is, I met this beautiful girl when I was 19. She was, thank you can do that. She is beautiful. My mother's like, marry her, you lucked out. I'm like, Ma, behave. She was 18, I was 19, and we fell madly in love. And she would come, I met her in New York, and she would come every 2 months to visit me in India with her piano money that she made, And then I was like, geez, I'm the guy. I'm supposed to do the whole, I'm the man. I'm supposed to do this stuff. So I came here a couple of times, but I went broke. I'm a cartoonist, for God's sake. So then I said, Nate, what do I do? And so she said, give me your paintings. My dad knows some rich folks. I'll just sell it to them and pay for your ticket. Come and see me. So while she was at college, I sent her all my paintings. And she really started selling them. But her dad's friends didn't buy any. But we actually went from house to house trying to sell them in a rented van. And that's how I started my career as an artist. She became my boss as well as my girlfriend. I have to show you... That's how we are more or less now. Notice a difference we were equals when we met. Something happened along the way. Anyway, I was a bit of a rock star. We did really well. By the time I was 21, we had made $1 million just selling my art. I had the top collectors. Everything was excellent. I had the most beautiful girl. That's a dog collar, by the way. And everything was fantastic, so we decided the best way to celebrate is to get married. So we put a small guest list of about 7,000 people, and we had the craziest wedding, which was an art installation. we had about 150 artists working for us to do this crazy wedding. We were the top. I mean, imagine I had the wedding of my life, the girl of my life, my career. I'm an artist. I could sort of say, you know, for everyone who said you'll never make it, I was like, take that. But something sad happened right after this point. And the person I really loved, my mother, became really sick. And she started almost dying. At that point, I had to ask myself, am I that happy? Can my work reflect my inner happiness? And unfortunately, my work's turned really dark. All of a sudden, all the people who used to buy my work, the stars, the extravagance, changed to something really dark, and I didn't even know where it was coming from. I questioned beauty itself. And at this point, we had to decide. We lost all our patrons. And we had to decide, what is it that excites me? Is it the money, the fame, the attention, the art? And my wife and I said, I think the best way to just take a break and let's do what everyone does, have a baby. So we had a baby. Rudra was born. And, thank you again for the, I love these moments. Thank you. Because this is the only nice part about having babies. Anyway, this is not going online, is it, Lara? Anyway, this also happened in 2008 when my baby was born. President Obama became president. Duh. But it gave me so much hope. I wanted to come to this country. I was tearing up as I watched him come, and young people take sort of part in that democracy. It got me so excited. I moved to Paradise, Park Slope. And that's where I met all the self-righteous mommies. All the ones who said, you don't compost? You don't go to the co-op? What a loser you are. I was like, dude, don't tell me how to live my life. And I must tell you, they gifted me children's books. Now you'd say, oh, how nice. Except those were manuals on parenting. They were like telling me how to behave. So I want to show you a little children's book I made when everything had gone wrong. We were in New York. My wife and I made a little children's book.
You know, I have a problem with children's books. I think they're full of propaganda. At least an Indian trying to get one of these American books in Park Slope, forget it. It's not the way I was brought up. So I said, I'm going to counter this with my own propaganda. If you notice carefully, it's a homosexual couple bringing up a child. You don't like it? Shake it. And you have a lesbian couple. Shake it, and you have a heterosexual couple. You know, I don't even believe in the concept of an ideal family. I have another idea. It's a children's book about Indian independence, very patriotic. But when you shake it, you get Pakistan's perspective. Shake it again, and you get the British perspective. You know.
I can skip that. So this did really well. I was doing it for my son. But little did I realize that this created a bit of a movement. And all of a sudden, something as silly as a children's book became high art for me. It was a very special moment. So my paintings absorbed the children's aesthetic, and I now retell Indian history through perspectives and through memes and cartoons. And I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. And I'm really interested in perspectives and creativity. I think the best way to learn creativity is to teach perspectives at a very early stage. In fact, creativity is the most important tool for empathy. Only when you're creative can you even imagine yourself in the shoes of someone different. So my argument is that creativity is the most important tool. And to do that, now I've taken a sabbatical from the art world. I'm working with scientists, with technologists, with hackers, with all kinds of fashion bloggers, to rethink the way we consume knowledge through pictures. I can't tell you more. I just started this 2 weeks ago, actually. And I want to leave you with two things. I know I have 7 seconds left. 2 thoughts. One is I could not have done anything I did if there wasn't one stupid person who believed in me all my life. My stupid person is my wife, Netra. And the second thing is we had another baby 2 months ago. I'm very prolific. I'm an artist. I'm a man. But And I think about what kind of bubble do I want to bring up my child in? And what kind of artificial or reality do I want to create for my child? And I cannot promise my children a life without bias. We're bloody biased. But I promise to bias my child with as many perspectives as possible. Thank you so much.